Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. So, I've been drinking a lot of coffee and I gotta pee, but I decided to wait till after I make this video. So, hopefully, that'll make things go a little bit more quickly here for you. Got a lot of information to get to you today. And we are on the Bitcoin US dollar index chart on the 5 minute time frame. This is where we are currently on Thursday noon, where I'm at here in lovely, gloomy Southern California. Um, so we are currently consolidating between these two white lines. Little wick out there, little wick below, and I don't imagine that these will, you know, be like solid walls we're not going to get through. We can swing way out above or below them. But let me tell you about all these lines we have here. This was our move. Okay, I was talking about 28.8 for a long time. That was my level of support and resistance that I felt we had to test. It was a long line of support and resistance going way back. Now, we'll show you all about that later. The white dashed line is at 28.8. The red line represents the top of our weekly Gaussian channel. Okay? That's when we break above that, that is our to the moon. We make parabolic moves from there. In the past, and this is coming off of the bottom in the past. When we broke through the top of the Gaussian channel, we've had moves of 30 to 80%. Within a month. Then a pullback after that, depending upon the strength of the initial move. Now, that red line is the top of the daily Gaussian channel. The green dotted line also represents the top of the. I'm sorry, the red line is the weekly Gaussian channel. Green line is the top of the daily Gaussian channel. They just happen to coincide with this 28.8 band, and you could not have timed this any better, this move, unless you maybe did it about 6 hours earlier. But as far as the architects of this chart, man, they did a pretty good job. Um, the architects of this price action, I should say. So we tested that a little bit, and we moved onward and upward from here. Now, from there, this red dashed line is the center line of a channel that I've drawn that goes back to, that one goes all the way back to September. And now the channel, the tops and bottoms of the channel really don't have, they're not really holding in a lot of the price action. It's the center line here, which is really a trend line. That I just happened to draw the channel around. The center line is the importance of that channel. This purple line is the bottom of the purple channel, parallel channel that we've been trading in since FTX. That one is important. Well, these lines, both the channel is important here, the center line is important here, and that is why we have chosen these lines, as well as these white lines. This is why everything is timed the way it's timed, because these are all important areas. It's just funny how these things play out like this. And you can see on the 5 minute how these lines, we're interacting with all of these lines. Now, let me go to this one, and you can see what those white lines are now. Here they are. They're just very close together because we did this. But those are the lines we are currently trading between. I'm really nasally today. Um, and this time frame here is the time between our April of 21 and November of 21 highs for the Bitcoin market, and what happened before, between, and after. You can see how important these lines are for support here and resistance here in May of 22. So that's why we are where we are. 28.8 is the dashed line down here. That was my level. And you can see this is why, because 28.8 was a key level of support here. Support here. I mean, it's where we wicked down to. But the choice the market has made was a little bit higher because there was a lot more price action above these wicks here that I chose as my level. Now, okay, let's stay there for a minute. All right, I had an interruption. I was talking about the current lines we were trading about, the lines we're trading around currently. And I showed you our resistance and support levels that we are currently testing. The other lines that are involved are this red trend line, which is the center line of a channel I've drawn. The trend line is the most important part of that, and that goes back to September. From early September of 22 to early November. And it's a trend line of resistance that we were following. We were breaking through it when FTX happened. And there's no doubt in my mind that was a planned attack on the crypto market by SBF and Gary Gensler and his buddies. What happened after that 2-month period is that we came back to where we were and continued in this holding that trend line as resistance, but moving onwards and upwards. Excuse me. And until we had this collapse again, caused by who? Gary Gensler, once again, and his attacks on Binance and Kraken and whoever else he was attacking. I forget. And then we moved back up and broke through that trend line of resistance and held it for support, as support, reclaiming this purple channel, the top of the purple channel that we've been trading in, and that is the purple line that we are currently trading about right here, and the red line and the white lines all right here. We are re-entering the purple channel and trying to break through the red center line of resistance to use it as, well, it won't be support because we will be back in the purple channel. So that's what those lines are all about. And as a side note, guess who was accumulating during all these attacks? And even here currently, with this latest attack by our friend Gary Gensler, well, it's all the guys that are now applying for their ETFs and all that jazz. The TradFi people who are getting into our market now have been accumulating during all this FUD created by their buddies. Okay, moving on. Let's see now what we've done in the past when we've broken through the top of the Gaussian channel on the weekly time frame. This is back in 2012. And it was a long time ago, but it still holds significance because we came through the mean band and out the top of the Gaussian channel. We had a big move. Now this does not look like a big move, but when I put my little measuring thing on here from the top of this Gaussian channel to the top of that wick, that is 92% move. And it does not look like it here, but that's a big move, isn't it? And it was a move from like $8 up to $15. Can you believe it? And then we came back down and retested the top of the Gaussian channel there within a couple weeks. That wasn't very long that we. Now here, up through the Gaussian channel, shot right up through it. Once we spent time, similar to what we've done recently. Spent time between the mean band and the top of the Gaussian channel here in 2015, 2016. Finally busted through and shot up here. I still have my cursor on. I want to make a new one. And that move, I already know, is about 32% from the top of the Gaussian channel up to this wick. 30%. I'm kind of sloppy there. Now, we stayed up here for over a month and then came back down and retested it. That was back in 2015 and 16. Here we are, and this is 2019. Let's get our little measuring thing. Same thing, same deal. Up through the weekly Gaussian channel, shot through it. Now, our initial move here was about 17%. I think I drew that kind of sloppily. 17, 20%, something like that. And then we did come right back down, retest it, and move back upwards. That was an 80% move from the top in just a month and a half, something like that. So in every case, we did come back down and retest the top of the Gaussian channel. And here, we also came back down months later and retested it and fell back into it. Now, the reason for that is much different than all the other times. And first, well, I'll show you why that is, if I can find it. Maybe I can't find it. Where did it go? Is it way back here? Oh, here we go. The reason for that, back in 2019, you can see on the monthly accumulation distribution chart, the slope of the accumulation indicator in 2019 was very shallow. I don't know what, I don't want this. I don't like these things on auto sometimes. Slope here is very shallow and could not support the steep price action here. It's a much different case back here in 2015. The slope of the accumulation is much steeper here and supported the price action here. Of note too, see these purple lines that I've drawn. These are trend lines, and purpose of those will be more clear in a moment. And here we are currently, and you can see the slope of our accumulation is much steeper than even in 2015, supporting the price action that will support the continued price action that we're having. Now, I've carried these purple lines, trend lines, from our bull run in 2015 over to where we currently are. Just as a guide. And this parallel channel, I believe, is it's the same as the purple parallel channel on the other charts. So this is where we currently are, and I see us continuing moving in this direction. It's supported by all the evidence. I've shown this in a previous video, but This is where we could be in October of 24. $626,000. That's seems a bit crazy, doesn't it? Maybe not that high. Maybe only $390,000. Anyway, several $100,000 for Bitcoin just over a year from now is not out of the question. All right. Now, so we did come back down and test the tops of the Gaussian channel here, but is that really what we were doing? I have so many tabs up here. Because let's go back here. Well, here to 2015-16. When we were retesting this $400, $430 to $60 area for support, trying to break the resistance and support. I believe this is where we came up through the Gaussian channel on the weekly time frame, and then we wicked back down here. We were not testing the Gaussian channel necessarily. Could we have been just retesting this for support? Same here in 2019. Here's our support level from the previous high. And we wicked down here. That was May of 2019. We wicked down here. Was that testing the top of the Gaussian channel or this previous support level? Let me go to my Gaussian channel chart and see if that coincides here. Yeah, May of 2019 was, well, it was right here. So, currently, we are testing this right now pretty thoroughly. And I believe that if we test that pretty thoroughly over the next few days, do we really need to come back down and retest it? Or is that what we're doing now? And later on, if we do make a move, bust a move up here, and pull back, we don't necessarily need to come all the way back down to the top of the Gaussian channel. We just need to come back down here to $30,000. So is a move up to 38, back down to 30 possible? Sure. We'll just have to keep an eye out for that and discuss it later on. I mean, there's no way we could have any idea of knowing right now. So that's enough of that. Let's move on to the 2-day volatility indicator here. Now, I was out of town last week and I could not get this out to you, but we've been watching this and I've been telling you to watch the 2-day indicator bleeding into the 5-day indicator for their low volatility and expansion from that low volatility as indicator of our move. And this again is being covered up. So back here, I think was the last time I spoke to you about it, maybe somewhere back here. And we were just breaking through the 10% line on the BBWP indicator here. And after a long, just dragging out, we broke through it here and then never really expanded and kind of fell through here and were trying to expand, but never really expanded. It was really, really boring, but I said to watch this. And when we did expand, this was the move right here. We went from downward on the stochastic, on the momentum indicator, and this looks level here. It's still slightly downward, but it's changing. And that's when we were expanding here. And if you watch that, then we did expand. We did see some expansion here. It wasn't yet confirmed, but this was your signal. And you can see we had a doji candle here, a hammer candle here. So if you're watching all these indicators and you were out of the market, this is where you got in. And expansion here, and that's where, boom, that's where we made our moves. Now, I also said to watch the 5-day indicator. So let's go there. This is the 5-day indicator. We are at 7.14%. We have not expanded off that. We close in 2 days. Now, I said the 2-day is the one you want to watch because when the 5-day expands, you already missed most of the move. So the 5-day has not expanded yet, and we're making that move. I believe the move will continue. I don't know if we'll see expansion in 2 more days in the close. That's Saturday. Or if we see the expansion the following week. I imagine this move continuing into next week for sure. Well, I mean, probably a lot longer than that too. But anyway, why isn't this moving? I want it to move. There we go. So anyway, we're about to expand. We're headed upwards. Upon expansion, I don't know. Anyway, I think you want to be in the market now. That's what I'm saying. What else do I have here for you? Oh my God. This is the crypto market cap, the altcoin market. Expanded here as well on the 2-day time frame. Now, this is important because upon expansion, the momentum oscillator is pointing upwards. This one is a little bit slower to come around. So expansion has happened on the 2-day. We've moved up a little bit. How much is this move that we've had? Let's just go from, let's go from back here, from that very low bottom to where we're at now. It's only a 10% move. Got a lot more in this. And on the 5-day, it is just expanding now. And like I said, this is a little bit slower to move. So this is where we want to be. Yeah, not giving any financial advice right here. But where I see this headed, you got to take everything together. Let's get off of the momentum indicator and the BBWP right now and look at the bigger picture here. Well, you can see the time. This is all of 2022 right here and into 2023. What are we doing? You know what? I've included my other lines here because I saw us breaking out here. We attempted a breakout here, didn't make it. We were unable to cross the top of this. We did a little bit, but we were unable to get out of here as it held us down as resistance. We were not able to turn it into support is what I'm looking for. But what have we done? We have formed this ginormous inverse head and shoulders pattern perfectly. Okay? And if you don't know how powerful this is, then I don't know what to tell you. We're seeing expansion off low volatility. And we have this. And Bitcoin is pumping, and the altcoin market lags behind it maybe a week or so. Not much more than that. So I see huge moves through the altcoin market. Huge. I mean huge. up here, way up here where I'm dancing around. Okay, and see what kind of moves we're talking about from where we're at now. We're talking 60%, you know, 70%, maybe here up to 75% moves from where we are currently, easily. Um, a bunch of other lines here. See that big aqua line? I don't know what that is, but it's something I drew a long time ago, and it's very significant. So, oh, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to think about it. But this aqua line indicates where we want to be in August of 2024, I believe. And how are you gonna get there? Follow the freaking line. So let's zoom back in and follow the line. It's completing this big, huge W. Okay, follow the line. And it's taking us back into this purple parallel triangle, just like on Bitcoin. I mean, parallel triangle. Parallel channel. So, anyway, what else do I have for you? I'm going to get cut off here. I'm just rambling on and on. I showed you this chart. I showed you this chart. Those showed you all those charts. I think that's all I wanted to talk about, really. All right. So, like, subscribe, and let's see where we are at currently now. Yep, still here. Trading around 30,100, right? Holding all these lines. So it's Thursday. Thursday's usually a down day, and we're just maintaining here. Can't tell you where we're going, really. I would like us to really, really thoroughly test this. Maybe we'll see a little pump on Friday, come back down, hang out here over the weekend, and then blast off next week, something like that. Who knows? The big thing I don't want to do, I don't want to leave any freaking gaps because I don't want to hear zombie talking about the freaking gap for months on end. Oh, we're going to come back down and fill that gap, 30,000. Anyway, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.